Ipswich are wobbling, and there is a pack chasing behind them, of which Swansea aims to be one of them. Let's just get the views of both as Ipswich meets Swansea this weekend. Good evening, Iain and Richard. How are we both?
Very good, thanks, Mark. How are yourself?
Good, thank you. Good.
Yeah, not too bad here.
Let's start with the wobbling tractor boys then. We say a wobble, Iain, but it's 2 draws. It's not that bad, is it? But is it correct to say you're not playing well?
It's disjointed. I mean, if the results have gone our way, we could be sat here now saying, well, it's top of the championship, but we missed that opportunity. There's been a couple of subtle injuries, and it's meant that it's not look as slick as we normally do. Let's say that.
Let's go back to the Birmingham result first, and then we'll look ahead to Swansea and also jump into the Rotherham game as well. The first half, then Birmingham just had your number, but you have this habit, don't you, of hanging on into games, not giving up. And was it the substitutions that won you that game? Oh, sorry, substitutions that got you points out of that game. Sorry.
Birmingham came at us with a very similar game plan how to we are, which is very much on the front foot, attack, and I think the Ipswich fitness regime is built around that. We're really, I think our fitness is going to be up there in the top 2 or 3 teams, and I think Birmingham, much like when we played Huddersfield, came at us with that type of attitude. We weren't comfortable. We didn't have the time to bring it out from the back, but they just couldn't keep it up. So, we had some substitutes, and McKenna has this theory, like about minute 65, he tends to change a whole phase of the team with fresh players. It's not like I'll bring a one on here and one on there. He'll change a whole part of the team, the whole flank. So I think that, combined with the fact that, we can maintain that kind of energy level for good 90 minutes now, probably helped us. But I mean, credit to Birmingham. That was it was a great game plan that they had, and they had a couple of key players that just come back who hadn't had maybe 90 minutes. So probably that was one reason why the pressure kind of died off a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you've beaten some big teams. You've beaten Southampton. You've beaten Cardiff, Hull, Sunderland, Preston. Obviously, the only team you've lost to is Leeds. So you still have only lost 1 game in this league. So whilst there might have been some people jumping around saying, "Oh, Ipswich are wobbling here," this isn't a disaster, is it? This is just a case of meeting teams at a perhaps a wrong point, including Rotherham on Tuesday night, who were well up for it, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, any other team below us would be quite happily 8 points clear. I'm sure Leicester are loving the fact that we're getting a lot of the attention. We're trying to capture Ipswich because it keeps the pressure off them. But having noticed the TV games that have just been announced, it's been confirmed that the Ipswich-Leicester game will be on TV Boxing Day. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of people glued to that one on the Boxing Day evening. But yeah, it's still enjoyable watching Ipswich. So we'll see what happens. We had a blip last year where we had several draws on the trot, which really damaged us. But I think we're quite fortunate we have this 8-point gap at the moment.
Yeah. Last week you gave your player of the October to your goalkeeper, and I think already he's gone straight into the October EFL team of the month as well. Just a word on him. I've read a stat again this week that in terms of goals saved, actually, goals that could have gone in, he is more than double the amount of goals saved versus his next competitor. Just how good has your goalkeeper been this year?
I think we underestimate how much of a pressure on him to step into Christian Walton's boots. I mean, Christian Walton came to us from Brighton. He was fantastic. We had him on loan initially and then bought him. I think he was the highest paid player in the club as well. He went out with this torn muscle in his foot. Václav has just stepped in, and it's been a seamless transition. He didn't have the benefit of doing the pre-season knowing he was going to be the starting goalkeeper. He had to step up straight away, and a couple of times there's been a few nervous moments at the back. but he seems to have really settled down now, and I can really understand now why when he was at Salford, he won I think the fans and the players player of the year, and he was so highly regarded in that area. And I think the next thing now is to see if he gets a call up, rather belated in his career, but a call up to the Czech Republic football team. And goalkeepers tend to get call ups in the 28 to 32 year bracket anyway, so his age at 32 shouldn't be a deterrent from that.
Okay. Just a word on Jack Taylor as well, who scored against Rotherham. Does he now come into the team, start against Swansea?
I don't think he does, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of the players, when they came to Ipswich, were 100% bought into the fact that it is very much a squad rotation system, and I think McKenna has his preference for starting, but it is all based on who the opposition is. We've seen that at the back. He's changed the centre backs based on the pace of the opposition teams. What kind of style he's going to play against him. I still think that, hopefully Nathan Broadhead has got over his sickness bug. There's nothing out about that at the moment. So I'd like to think that Broadhead maybe comes back in and Marcus Harness goes back to the bench. I think with Massimo Luongo and Morsey being as strong as they are, there's no real room for Taylor to step in. When Morsey got a suspension for yellow cards, it left an opening which was filled by Evans. He's now got a long-term injury. So I guess Jack Taylor's next opportunity will be the next suspension for somebody, I assume.
And just a word on Swansea then this weekend. How do you rate them and what they've been doing this year?
They've got a great manager in Duff. We saw that at Barnsley last year, and I know how highly he rates Ipswich. I think consistency is going to have to be what they're looking for. I'm not sure what they're like on their travels, to be honest. When they come, we'll have to see. I'd love to think that Ipswich are going to get back to winning ways. It's going to be an emotional day anyway, because it's the remembrance fixture. It's sold out already, so it'll be just under 30,000 there. It's the first home game for a few it's the first home league game for about 3 weeks as well. So yeah, it'll be a good test for us to see that we can bounce back ability. There we go.
All right, well, thank you. We'll leave it there for a second. Cheers, Iain. Let's cross over then to Wales. Good evening, Richard. Are you okay?
Good evening. Yeah, not too bad. Just recovering from Bobby Madley.
No, we don't like to talk about referees too much. When it comes to Bobby Madley's case, we've obviously had him in the Premier League, and now you've got him in the Championship. I'm very sorry to hear. What was your view on the game? Obviously, aside from some very poor refereing.
Yeah, well, it was always going to be a tough test to face the Sunderland side, which they've done very well this season, and to have the referee to stamp his authority on very early on onto the game with some bookings. Patino had the early booking, and then he's had another one. We've played the game then out with over an hour really, and it's changed the context of it. But we did have an opportunity with Jamal Lowe missing the penalty, and it was one of those really where as soon as he had it and he was doing the run up and he sort of was going one side to the other, and you're thinking, I'll just put it in the corner, just smash it, get the goal, and then we're trying to see the game out, as best we can. The height wasn't right, and the keeper saved it. And then, that was basically one of our better chances of the match. It was a really tough afternoon. Sunderland had a lot of opportunities. They just seemed to be lacking a striker, I think. And we were, we weren't breached badly but at times when our keeper Carl Rushworth was called upon, he made some top saves. There's one real brilliant one-handed one he done in the second half, tip it over the bar. And defenders played really well. Bashir Humphreys and Harry Darlin, really solid at the back, and then Ben Cabango then came on with about 10-15 minutes to go, and I think the manager said he made about 7 blocks. That was incredible. We've been a lot more solid at the back, starting to come really good now for the Swans defensively this season. After last year, we were so poor at times.
Yeah, I was going to say that was my next question to you. It was that sort of game you'd have lost last year?
Oh, 100%. I think so. Even though they didn't have, we seemed to let teams have clear-cut opportunities. And in this match, you didn't seem to have that real like sort of chance where you'd expect the striker just to go and bury it 1-on-1. You know, as far as I could see, there was the sort of half chances and there was a couple of good saves from it, but I wouldn't say we're comfortable because they had a lot of shots. But you know, we held out firm, and yeah, we wouldn't have had that last season. That was very much a point gained rather than points dropped. And I think over the course of the season, that's the difference in landing around the playoff areas. You know, getting that consistency right.
Yeah, he's definitely made you a tough side to beat, hasn't he, Duff? And obviously that starts with the goalkeeper. Rush was on. Is he on loan still?
Yeah, he's on loan from Brighton for the season. So there's talk. I think it might be a recall in there in January, but I would have thought he would stay with the keeping quality they've got at Brighton this season, unless somebody comes in and tries to buy, I guess, in January. But he's been exceptional and he's improving all the time. You know, I think he's made a massive difference in the team, and you can see the confidence he breeds with the defenders around him. So it's you know, it's good quality to have in there. You know, the only thing I'd say with that backline is a couple of loan players in there, and yeah, it's hard when you've got players on loan, but the boys are focused on the job.
So we've got some tough games after the break with Hull and Leeds to come, and it doesn't get any tougher really than going away to Ipswich. What's your views on this game, and who's going to come in for Patino, obviously serving his ban?
Well, Ipswich, I just have to say, they're a fantastic team to watch. Probably this game for me is the game that I'd go and pay and see that match. You know, if I want the Swans fan, I think I would be expecting a really nice game with lots of chances, lots of possession. Both teams would be looking to win, play the right way. So I feel there's going to be lots of goals in the match. I think it's going to be great to watch. But you know, they got such a good home record. Ipswich have. They scored loads of goals. They've unbeaten in forever. You know, only that one game in 32, I think it was. They've lost recently. Oh, it's incredible stuff. And I've heard. Like, you know, they drawn a few games last year and whatever, and the last two matches, they come up short just in the end, really. But they're brilliant. I think they're going up for me. I even think they are going to be a harder prospect than Leicester were the other week. You know, I think we've done very well against Leicester. In terms of the team, well, we're down to bare bones a little bit at the moment. We've got so many injuries. Nobody's coming back, the manager said. And so it's a choice, really. Jay Fulton came on for Patino just to shore things up. So whether he starts with that or he goes with a different tweaking of the formation, which brings in some other options like a Liam Walsh or an Ollie Cooper into the side and changes round to positional play, or whether we go 3 at the back like we started the season with Cabango coming back in. I think he's keeping his cards close to his chest because, like I say, we do have a few options, but not loads for this weekend.
All right, well, football is going to be the winner this weekend. Two really nice footballing sides meeting each other. Iain, let's get to your predictions first. What are you going with?
Well, I can see there being an early goal. I can probably see it coming from Swansea, but I'd like to think we'll display that strong resilience that we've had all season. And I'd love to see an Ipswich sound 3-1 home win.
Okay, good. And Richard, are you in an optimistic mood this week or realistic?
Well, we've been great away from home. Last 4 games away, we've had 3 wins and a draw. I can see us getting another point. Let's have another 2-2 for Ipswich, shall we?
We love 2-2s.
I can't believe that somebody on Twitter that you don't sound. It feels weird saying that McKenna's side haven't won in 3 games when you count the FA Cup game as well. It doesn't feel right, that, because even when you lose, very rarely that you've lost or drawn, you usually go on, and win the next one. So it'd be interesting to see whether we can put that right. Listen, enjoy the game, both of you. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a good rest next week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Cheers. Thanks, Mark.
Cheers, Mark.
Take care.